Hello everybody, welcome to Deluxe Collectibles, and today I'm going to be going over two concept art designs for two key characters introduced in LEGO Ninjago Season 4 Tournament of Elements, and these are both really cool designs here, of course, done by Tommy Andreasen here, and I kind of want to talk about why they were not used in the actual final concept, and also just kind of go through my sort of theories on how these designs could have actually changed up the story of Tournament of Elements. So without further ado, let's get straight into it here. And the first one that we have is for Skyler, which is really cool because Skyler is one of my favorite characters. Of course, we've seen so much evolution for her character throughout the Ninjago series, going from just being in Season 4, of course, to being like reintroduced in Season 9, Hunted, and of course just seeing some really cool growth for her character, and hopefully some more of that in the future as well. So let's look at the design here, and I think it's definitely quite a departure from what we originally saw for Skyler, and this was even before she had been given a name, so you know, it was very early on in development, maybe even more so just going for like a more of a character archetype, of course, for the actual season of just kind of like the bad girl. At least that's kind of what it's giving me a vibe of here. She definitely looks a lot more evil and menacing in this sort of design, and maybe would have even sided more with Chen and even Klaus as well in this actual season, because of course in Tournament of Elements you can definitely see there's quite a big divide between, of course, Skyler and her father Chen, so you can kind of see that just even in design wise as well. Skyler, of course, sports a lot more of a bright sort of color scheme, while Chen, of course, has more of a wacky personality and a bit of a brighter color scheme, but of course you can kind of just see in sort of his outfit that he is a bit more evil and not to really be trusted. So I just feel like Skyler has more of your typical sort of hero design, and maybe it helps as well because she's in more of a ninja uniform. Of course, in the design that we can see here in the concept art, she is definitely not in your sort of traditional ninja uniform. She's actually burning a ninja mask in this concept art, which I think is really cool. So maybe that also could hint towards them maybe going for a bit of a darker tone for the season. Of course, there are dark parts to the actual season in tone, but I think that here it definitely is giving me more vibes of that. I love her hair as well. It's definitely like kind of hanging over the face, just making her look maybe even a little bit more goth or something like that. So I do like that, just kind of channeling more of that evil energy just overall in her design. But of course, the reasoning for her not being used with this design in the actual season was that it seems a bit too mature, I suppose is kind of the right way to say it. Of course, there's different ways to go about it, but it has to do with her design here. Just of course, you have to keep in mind that Ninjago is a children's show, and it's definitely not as appropriate, I suppose, with the design here, but I think that it's definitely still pretty cool, and it's just always interesting to see where they sort of start with these designs here for the characters and then where they can kind of go forward from that. And of course, there could have been other reasons as well. Of course, this is like a very initial concept design here for the character before she even had a name, so it's also just a development process as well, and you're gonna find better designs eventually down the line as well as they go through the character development and evolution of the design for Skyler. So it makes a lot of sense as well. It's rare that I'm sure that you would actually choose the first initial design for something. So I think that is cool though to kind of see this and sort of just look at a design that we'll probably never end up seeing in the actual series, even if it were to be reused for another character. I don't know if we would end up seeing that. But then the next one that we have here is a really cool one, and that is Klaus right here, and definitely has a really interesting design. And there's also a very cool fact as well that I never knew about from actually Dan and Kevin Hageman, and they basically kind of retweeted like Tommy's tweet, because this is from Tommy Andreasen's Twitter, and basically said that Klaus was actually named after the director of the film Enter the Dragon, and that is Robert Klaus. So that is really cool. I never knew that, so kind of a fun fact right there for any fans of that film and that director specifically. So I do think that's kind of cool as well to kind of see the inspiration even just behind the name there. And then for the actual design of Klaus, this is definitely, once again, kind of in a similar realm to Skyler, much more of a sort of like scary looking design. Now, Klaus, I think still did, of course, have a definitely like creepy sort of look to him, and even his demeanor as well in the delivery of his lines. Of course, you know, he's up to no good, and he definitely has more like, he's more direct with his like ill intentions than than Chen is. Of course, Chen's definitely playing around a lot more more, of course, with the tournament, hosting this. He's not very direct about his evil intentions. Of course, Klaus is more so that way, and of course, it just kind of plays into more of his personality. So I think that's kind of cool how they're channeling more of that in his design here. I definitely like the sort of robe, like clean look to his design. I think it definitely gives kind of a simplistic style to his outfit, and I love how it sort of allows for the highlight of like his snake tattoos along the arms. I think that is so cool, and I would have loved to have seen that as actual like arm prints on the minifigure. I think that would just be awesome. I could just imagine something like, I know they would never do this obviously because not many people know about these concept designs and things like this, but wouldn't it be so cool to have like a concept art series, like first appearance or like first like design concepts, like minifigure series for Ninjago? I know they would never do that, of course, but I think that it is really cool. Even just like an art book for Ninjago would be so cool. I would absolutely love to see something like that, but this design is just so cool. He definitely got quite a bit of a haircut, as well as you can see in his design here. He has a very long like ponytail down the back there, so that's really cool as well, and it's just a really cool looking design. I really do like this quite a bit. I like even around his eyes, the small details of the lines there. It kind of makes him look a little more stressed, maybe a bit older as well, so I think that's really interesting as well. So yeah, it's just a very unique looking design, a very cool one, and you can just kind of see the departure that they go from with these original concepts, but you can still see some parts of them in the actual character designs that we wound up seeing in the actual series. So I like that, kind of seeing the development of that, and that's something that I find really interesting in Ninjago, because there's so much stuff that we get access to because of Tommy Andreasen sharing stuff like this over on Twitter. So a huge thanks to him and all of his, of course, hard work and just engagement with the community, as well with sharing things like this. So it really does make for some fun videos and sort of fun discussions as well. So let me know your thoughts on these designs here. I've seen a few other designs as well, some early concepts for some of the Elemental Masters as well, so I'll probably cover those in future videos at some point as well, because I do want to discuss all of these cool designs at some point. But for now, let me know your thoughts on Klaus and Skyler here in the comments. Would you have cared if they had stuck with these designs? Would you have preferred it, or do you like the designs that they ended up going with? I'm definitely more than satisfied with the designs that they ended up going with. I think they both look phenomenal, so I definitely love those, but I also do like these designs as well for some other reasons also. So let me know all your general thoughts down below. If you did enjoy the video, be sure to leave a like, also subscribe as well if you want to check out more of my content. That would be highly appreciated. So just thanks so much. I'll see you all next time, and always remember, keep on collecting.